you. Thank you very much. I'm honored. Today was a really beautiful day. I woke up in the morning and I looked outside. I was like, wow, this is where I wanted to be, and I'm here. And many people ask me, why did you choose to come to Maine? Well, sometimes I have many reasons, but I tell them I came to Maine because I wanted to see the snow. And it's I love Maine because it has every single thing you want to see, every beautiful thing you want to see in the world is here in Maine. You can see the fall, you can see the winter, you can see spring, you can see pretty much everything. It has beautiful people like you, so it's pretty awesome. So yeah, when I first came to the US, I met a friend. He's become a good friend because of the conversation we had. He's a doctor, and he asked me, so Alan, I know you're from Rwanda, and I know there was a genocide in Rwanda, but I want to know, are you a Hutu or are you a Tutsi? I was like, wow, that's a really good question, but I don't know what to tell you. So one thing I told him, well, I'm Rwandan. I don't know if I'm Hutu or Tutsi, but I know I'm a Rwandan. He was like, really? How can that be possible? So I was raised by my mom, and I grew up in a country called Uganda, which is right next to my home country, Rwanda, but I never got a chance to grow up in my own country because of what happened, but I was also lucky to go and explore out the world. So I'm very exploitive when I like to explore everything. So I was in Uganda, and my mom never told us about the genocide a lot. She only told us that we are Rwandans, and we should be proud to be Rwandans. She told us how the Hutu and the Tutsi thing came about. It was pretty much something very small, but it grew to become a very huge thing. My mom told us that it started small from physical differences, and this is why this topic is really important. And so it started very small. It started people not appreciating who they are. It started looking at yourself. I'm short. Oh, she's tall. Oh my God, she has light skin. Oh, she has beautiful hair. My hair is so whatever question you would say. And this is how it started in Rwanda. It started people looking at themselves as not as good as the other people were. And it grew to become more of economic reasons. People started to look at how much they had, how much wealth they had, and how much other people were better than them. I know these are differences that are everywhere. You probably think these are small things that you're used to, because everyone is not equal to the other one in the community. But where I come from, it grew and grew to become a very big thing that it even turned into an ethnic thing. But it's so funny because we speak the same language, we have the same culture. I think Rwanda is the only country in Africa that has that special thing. We are the only country. But it's so funny that people turn their physical differences, their economical differences, into something that became more like ethnical. And like most of you all know, there was a genocide. I won't go through the whole history of genocide because it can take years. The history took years to be built, so it can take me years also to explain everything. But I would really recommend for those who don't know much about the genocide to go and do some readings about it. It's really good to know and how it came about. But so yeah, today I'm here to tell you, what do we learn from such a history as individuals and as human beings? I'm not here to tell you whatever happened in the genocide, but I'm here to share with you my experience as a young Rwandan who grew up outside her country, her own country. And a Rwandan has seen how much my country has gone through to transform to what they are today. It's so spectacular. And I felt like you people should know how much Rwanda is progressing. And I know there's so many opportunities. So a couple weeks ago, actually, someone was like, oh, I want to go to Rwanda. And then the other friend was like, oh, no, there's Ebola. Like, what? Coming from Africa does not mean everyone has Ebola. Trust me. Yeah. And my friend, who is a doctor, she also told me, Alan, you try not to get sick, because if you get sick, you're going to be taken to the Ebola. I was like, what? I came here like 2 months ago before Ebola even broke out. But people don't understand, and so unfortunate. But so I'm here to share with you what we have gone through as a country and what we have learned. Personally, I have learned many things from my history, my country's history, and I want to share 3 of these things with you. So one is that I've learned to move forward. Everyone in Rwanda has learned to move forward and to forget what happened. Of course, you cannot forget and you can't take away all the consequences, but you have to move forward no matter what. I know most of you have gone through things that you feel like you won't make it through. You feel like you're going to remain there, but that's not what happened. You had to move forward. You have to find a way out of the situation, and that's what Rwanda has done. That's what I've done in my own life. There are things I've encountered and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to ever make it out. But after that, I move forward. I choose to take steps that will help me to become a better person. And Rwanda has done that too. And if you ever reach a situation and you feel you're so down, you feel you can't make it through, remember that there's people who have been so struggling to make themselves better people. And Rwanda has struggled for 20 years after the genocide, but they have chosen to move forward and to rebuild themselves. And as you can see, so most people, unfortunately, think this is how Rwanda looks like, but Rwanda has transformed so unbelievably in 20 years. And that's how Rwanda, part of Rwanda looks like. Most of the country part looks like that. But many people think this is how Rwanda looks because of the history. And this is how Kigali looks like. For people who have been in Kigali, I'm sure they're familiar with these places. But what has helped Rwanda to develop to this stage in such a short time after the tragedy is choosing to moving forward. Choosing to move forward and forget what happened and start to rebuild themselves. And you have to go forward, no matter what. No matter how much you think you're going through, no matter what you think you have failed, you still have to move forward. There's a way out. The other thing is appreciating who we are as Rwandans. We have learned to be who we are. When I was growing up in Uganda, no matter what, no matter where I would go, people will still identify me as a Rwandan. Even here at Bates, I think I met someone, people who are very familiar with their different cultures. They can know you. So I was talking to this person, and they were like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "From Rwanda." And they were like, "Yeah, I suspected that." So you will be identified no matter where you go, as a person, as an individual. You just have to appreciate who you are. And Rwandans, we have come to appreciate who we are. We have embraced our history, but we have to move forward. We can't stay in the history. So we have got, I don't know, but I feel like I appreciate myself more than I think I would have if the genocide had never happened. Don't ask me why, but I am. And the other thing is appreciating others. One thing you will never do is appreciate others if you don't appreciate yourself. Everything, we have a class and we talk about, is everything done for self reasons? Well, we tend to disagree, but I think mostly if you don't love yourself, if you don't appreciate yourself, if you don't think you have much to offer, there's nothing you're gonna do. And this is why appreciating yourself is really, really important. Just know you have something special. You're so much wonderfully, and you're so much wonderfully made. And you have everything you need to give to someone else. And that takes appreciating what you have, who you are, and how you're created. And that will help you to appreciate others. And Rwandans have come to learn that we have to appreciate everything we have, but we have to appreciate every other person and what they have. Because it was because we never appreciated what we had and what other people had that we ended up killing each other. We looked at how much different we are. We looked at how much we had and the other ones had, and we ended up not appreciating each other, and we killed each other. But now we've learned that appreciating each other is the only way out. we realize we're different, we realize we're all Rwandans, but we're going to have different economic standards. We're going to have different heights. Well, we're going to look differently no matter what, just like you. This room is full of diversity. If you look on your right, on your left, you will see people who are different from you. It doesn't mean you can't be united. Unity to me doesn't mean you have to be uniform. It's a choice we make. And Rwandans have learned to live together because they have learned to appreciate each other and move forward from what they have heard. These are two of my friends, and I love them. And they both go to Harvard. And so what I'm going to tell you is more like appreciating each other, but we also sometimes tend to look at what people are not perfect about. And this is why people have conflicts. This is why Rwandans killed each other. We looked at what people were bad at. We looked at people in a different way, and we never appreciated everything about people. And this time, I'm challenging everyone. If you look at Alan on stage, appreciate me as a whole person. Well, I know I have bad things, but you still have to appreciate them. You don't have to love the good things about Alan and forget about the bad things, because we're never going to be perfect. So about these two guys, Justus is a freshman, and Jonathan is a freshman too. They both go to Harvard. They both have gone through hard times to build their lives, but they are very accomplished, and they make me proud. So one thing I want to tell you is that there was a recent newspaper, the New Times. There was an article about Justus, and this article, probably most of you saw this article, and the article was talking about how Justus grew up on street and how he's been able to make it to Harvard. It's a great story, and it's inspiring. It's inspired me more. But if I look at the other side, I wonder if anyone took a step to know what else besides living on street has Justus achieved. Besides living on street and coming to Harvard, do you really know what else Justus has accomplished? Do you really know what Justus has done that's more wonderful, that's more positive than actually well, I know coming from street to Harvard is really good. It's great. I can't even imagine that. But besides that, is there something else you want to know about this person other than looking at one side of the thing? And Jonathan is the same guy. He goes to Harvard too. He's very accomplished. He started a computer training class in Kigali. But I wonder if there's anyone who has ever taken a step to know what Jonathan is doing. Well, I'm not saying that Justus having the opportunity to go from street to go to Harvard is not a great thing. It is very great. But my point is, how do we look at things? Do we look at things on one side, or do we look at things as a whole? Justus, who has moved from street to Harvard, started a youth initiative where they help fellow Rwandans go to school, those who can't raise money. They raise money for kids who can't raise their own money, and they send them to school. That is something I'm not sure people will know. And my point, what I'm trying to say, is that we should learn to appreciate people as a whole, and we should be eager and more critical when we see what is out in the world. Many people I've met here have told me, well, Alan, is there still a genocide? Like, no, but it ended 20 years ago. Rwanda is actually one of the most peaceful countries. They're like, well, but they keep saying there's conflicts and stuff. And to me, this is because we are not critical enough to know what is happening, to look at the whole thing as a whole, not to look at one side of the situation. And my challenge to everyone in the room, you probably have someone out there who's your friend, and they make you sick and crazy, and you're so mad at them. But have you taken time to look at what they can do better? Have you taken time to look at these people and say, oh, well, I think they make me so mad and sick, and I want to kick them out of my life. But have you taken that time to see that these people make me happy at some point? These people are great. These people have really improved my life. And that's my challenge to you. We should not only look at things where they go wrong. We should look at things where they go right too. We should look at all things together. And from there we can judge what we go with. I'm saying this because many people think Rwanda is the way I showed you before. They think there's chaos, there's chaos there's Ebola everywhere, there's death, there's conflict, but it's not true. If you look at this picture, it's Kigali, but not many people think there's lights in Kigali. I'm sorry to say. Which is, to me, I think it's not ignorance, or I think people are not so eager to know what happens in every part of the world, if I would say. And as I finish, I want to challenge everyone in the room that let's look at people and let's look at ourselves as a whole. And let's appreciate who we are, appreciate everyone the way they are, and embrace our differences. Because we're never going to be the same. Trust me, even if you're identical twins, you're still going to be different at some point. I'm going to like soccer and you're going to like football. And we're going to be different, even when you look at us and think these are twins. But you still have differences. And my point here today is that we all have wonderful things about ourselves. We all have really good things and really bad things. But we all have to appreciate each other the way we are. And that way, we will be able to move forward in our families, in our relationships, in everything we do. If we appreciate who we are, appreciate other people, and appreciate them the way they are, I promise you we're going to move forward. And Rwanda is doing that right now. I thank you.